Welcome to A Funny Thing Called Business. We are 4 business owners with over 30 years collective experience under our belts, sharing the capers and triumphs of running a small business and how we now avoid perilous customer chaos and pitfalls. My name's Clare Worley. We are also joined by...
Kate Curry,
Darren Langley,
Pete Morgan.
Okay, so what you won't know is that took us about 10 different takes. It's early. Not.
Yeah.
Okay, so lovely people, today we are talking about how to set goals that achieve. Because we're recording this in January, so we are all raring to get going for the year ahead. We've all set our goals back in December, so we're going to share how to set goals that will achieve you all that you want to achieve in 2024. So let's kick us off by sharing what memories do you have of old relating to setting goals, because we've all been setting goals for years. So let's share some of those stories from the past. Because, I used to, for example, think that I could just set goals and then they'd just achieve themselves.
Love it.
You mean they don't? Oh, God. Back to the
They've got to work. Still got to put the work in.
Honestly, when I was thinking about this episode, I thought, did I really just think that that's what I could do? Kind of, I've written them down now. So,
Thanks for
Stick them in a drawer.
that's done.
Thanks very much.
But you know what? I do know many business owners who will do exactly the same thing, who will have set their goals and then put them to one side, not look at them again. So let's kind of, go back to those things that you used to do when you set goals of old. Kate?
I think my first memory of doing any kind of goal setting, really, when I started to realise it was a thing, I did a business growth course years ago. I'd been in business for maybe about 3 years already. I'd just been sort of bumbling along with my brilliant strapline, I'll do anything for anybody, which was working kind of okay for me at the time. And then, and part of this growth course, we were encouraged to write a growth plan, and in that they encouraged us to be quite ambitious with some goals for what we wanted to achieve in 3 years for the business. So I diligently did that, but felt like it was the greatest piece of fiction I'd ever written. I was like, I don't believe any of these things are going to happen. I was in my spare bedroom at the time, working on a little laptop, and in it was just like, I'm going to have a team of 4 employees and my own lovely spanky office studio and all these other wonderful things. And
that'll never happen.
I know. Yeah. Well, that's exactly what I thought. Isn't that funny though? But just writing it down, sort of, I realised now in retrospect, looking back, it sort of changes your mindset because part of that was, well, how are we going to do those things? And I did start to map out, what are the actions I need to take to get there. And it did take a while. It took longer than I put in my timeline, but I look back now and everything in that growth plan I achieved. Maybe it was a year or two later, but I still managed to tick it all off. So all of a sudden it was not a piece of fiction anymore. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
What else can, we achieve if we, follow this process and just be ambitious with our goals, but then just break them down and how we're going to get there. So I think that was the biggest game changer for me with goal setting and how important that was in understanding how to grow the business.
Yeah, I love that. I think perhaps it's just what we tend to do at the beginning is just be really unrealistic with the time scales when you're writing goals down. You think, I'm going to do all this in the year. And of course,
or everything in Q1. That's what there's Q1 is we're going to achieve 5,000 things, and then the rest of the year we can just take off.
Yeah. So Darren, what about your goal setting of old?
Well, I always used to write business plans where I planned to fail, and then I realised that was the wrong way around, So, no, I didn't really. But they do say if you don't plan, then you plan to fail. And that's what I was doing.
Okay, fine.
Nice. No, we've got it.
I didn't.
I have to explain it a little bit further. What happened was I didn't do the thing that you're supposed to do.
Plan to fail.
That's the one.
Yeah.
So yes, exactly. Yeah. So no, I didn't have written down plans, and I think that's a bit of a mistake. So you've got to, like you just said, Kate. Really, you've got to have something in mind. It's kind of like driving across the country. without a map,
Yeah.
and expecting to just turn up at the place you're supposed to be at.
So did you make goals, but you just kind of had them in your head, like, oh, I'll get 5 new clients in this industry, that kind of thing? Did you set them? But
no, my goals were don't go bankrupt, and
just from the negative, like things you didn't
yeah,
want
exactly,
to happen.
It wasn't, and it was like, hire someone to do all the work, but I don't know how or when or how I'm going to achieve that.
I think that's how I used to set goals. It was really, they're just kind of
substance.
no substance to them.
Yeah.
What about you, Pete?
Now,
Sit back, relax.
we often talk about the fact that I am, as it comes to being a business owner, I'm quite the baby of the group, and it's been an incredibly...
You say that, but it's been 25 years.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, it's been, what was it, since going out on my own, it's 7 years this year since I kind of go out
So
on
you
my
can't
own.
use that excuse anymore.
No, do you know what? I'm still going to use it for as long as I possibly can.
No, you've milked that now.
The reason I'm saying it is that when I started, I didn't see the value in setting goals because I felt it took focus away from just running the business.
Yeah.
Why do I spend time coming up with some target or something that doesn't matter? It's only me. I'm not. Why write them down? Why even have them in my head? It's taking up space. It's taking focus. It's taking time away from running the business. So that was my.
It's mental, isn't it? What?
Yeah.
I mean, why were we so stupid?
I absolutely was. It's very good of you to do the diplomatic. We were so stupid. When what you mean to say is you were so stupid.
No, but I was as well.
But
just having them loose and just thinking, yeah, that'll be achieved. But I never sat down and went, how am I going to do it?
Yeah. I never even thought of it. I never even had, right, this is what I want to do with the business. It's always been, not always, obviously, over the past kind of 3 or 4 years, I have set goals and had something to work towards. But in the past, it was just this amorphous, just get bigger as a business, get more successful. That's it. That'll do.
That was mine as well.
And so that was my kind of early. And then when I did start setting them, I kind of did that cheating thing where set them to be easily achievable.
Oh, yeah.
So it would be like, right, we're launching an online course. It's for I've worked out that 15 people could be on this course. This is when we were doing stuff face to face. Okay, my goal is to get 2 people on the course.
Yeah.
And that's it. When you get the 2 people, you're like,
done.
Tick. Thanks very much, everybody.
Yeah.
Whereas those 2 people, that barely pays for the room hire.
Yeah.
So it's like that doesn't. But yeah, so I kind of did that cheat thing, which doesn't help anybody. It's such a momentary kind of spike in kind of the good vibes because you think, yeah, I've achieved this goal, but it's only when the reality sits in of like, wait a minute,
your bank account's still
exactly. I can't
because you don't want to feel like you've failed.
I know.
Like, even
Yeah.
if it's a goal you've set for yourself, you don't want that feeling like, oh, failed at something. But then you're never going to
push yourself
to
yeah.
more.
There is value in that, though, kind of, because you're kind of coming back to breaking down the goal. So, I mean, if you were to do it, treat it like a sort of stretch goals in crowdfunding, where you set an initial goal. When you achieve that goal, you've got your next goal lined up, ready to go. And then it's kind of like the whole, is it eat the elephant or something like that?
Yeah.
The term.
Eat it one bite at a time.
Exactly. So it's kind of like you set a realistic goal of 2, tick. Now it's 4.
Yeah.
Then it's,
yeah, because I didn't do that.
That's the bit you missed.
I just stopped at 2.
You forgot the stretch goals.
I was like, woohoo, yeah, right, where's my parade? Never even thought of, right, let's have 2, 4.
Yeah. And both of those are my mates.
Exactly, yeah.
And I'm paying them.
Yeah, it was just so naive. Yeah. So how on earth have I lasted 7 years? How has that happened? Those are my kind of early memories of setting goals.
Okay, this is good. So we're talking really at this point in time how not to set goals.
Yeah.
So what do you wish is the one thing that you'd have done differently at the beginning, or perhaps that you could have done differently with the information you had?
I think just be more realistic and more honest with yourself. And like Kate says, that recognise that you're not going to reach some goals. You are going to fail at some goals, but the mere fact of setting them sometimes is the thing you need to do. Just to kind of give you
It's a starting
focus.
point.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because it's the Winston Churchill quote that I'm a big fan of, is that planning is everything, but plans mean nothing. Which I really like, which is you've got to make a plan, you've got to plot your course, but if, so like with UK, if your kind of plan, you'd done the planning for 2023, but then you'd started down that route and you think, actually, I want to rebrand and we're going to change the company name. That's fine.
Yeah.
Just because you've got this plan doesn't mean that's absolutely, if another opportunity presents itself, it doesn't mean you can't move away from it. But you've got a focus. You just kind of come up with a new goal.
Strategy
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And of course, that often what happens when you've set your goal at the end of the year. You've achieved it, but it looks different to how you set it out, and you've achieved it in the way that you didn't think you was going to achieve it. So
I think that happens a lot, actually, that you have something in mind and you have an idea of how you're going to get there, but actually it turns out to be completely different. I mean, that happens all the time in life and, and everything that you can never really predict it.
No.
But at least having an end goal is the place that you want to end up at is really important.
Yeah. For me, I wish I would have set goals alongside, even if it was just alongside one other person. But I think I was so at the beginning, I'm not telling anybody anything. Yeah. I don't trust anybody.
Yeah. But also, I suppose, if you do end up not achieving them,
I know.
then you've got to that didn't happen.
But if you set goals even at the start alongside one person who's also in business that you can trust, they will kind of, you can push each other to, really, I think you can do better than, two people. I think that's a really good starting point, and I think that's what I wish I'd have done.
I think I was going to say something kind of similar, really, in that it's good to share them, and that's what I'm going to do with my team now. Is share the goals and share the vision, and I think it's the vision is the most important thing of all, really, because that's where your goals are like your small steps to get to the end. And I've got another nice little quote to share as well, which is if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. And I really quite like that.
Oh, yeah.
Because, it doesn't matter what you do, then you can set these goals, but, are they really taking you in the right direction? So I think, going back to the question, what would I have done differently? I think I would have focused much more time on what is my vision, what's really meaningful to me. And then I think that would help with the setting of the goals in a way that is, you can see where you're stepping along the journey and how it works and filters down into everything else. I wish I'd been a bit more strategic with it.
The bigger
Instead
picture.
of just going because I was a bit wishy-washy, so I'm like, I'd like some more clients, What does that really mean?
I know. I think it's really good if you just keep asking yourself, can I be more specific with this? Can I be more specific? Can I be, and just really drilling down. So will this be the first time that you've shared your goals in this kind of way with your team?
Yes. Yeah.
Scary.
Well, I waffle at them all the
exciting.
time, but I think a lot of them just it's just, probably just Kate with them. I've all these ideas we might do this. But I'm going to be really, have it all written down and goals and how we can all help to, play our part to achieve.
They're going to love that, Kate.
Yeah. I think I will as well, because I think it's this is taking goal setting up another notch, isn't it, really? It's you're not on your own with goal setting. You can have people help you achieve them as well.
Agreed. So, Darren, what do you wish you'd have done differently in the time of, penny farthings and shillings?
Wish I'd bought Apple stock. I mean, I suppose it is the same sort of thing, really. It's the accountability factor that I never considered. And, as you just said, sharing them is kind of half the battle in some respects, but and makes them real by saying them out loud. But also having somebody that's going to keep you on track and accountable for it is really important. But at the same time, scary, because, as we've already mentioned, the fear of failure is looms large. And it's like, if I tell them this goal and make them keep me accountable and I miss it, then I'm going to look like a loser. So I won't say it at all, and then it doesn't happen.
But sometimes it's not a failure, though. You're just like, I'm just delaying the goal slightly. I'm
Yeah.
stretching
Yes.
it out a little bit more.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
do it. I'll get it next year.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I think that's really important to
Absolutely.
remember. Like, you can. It's like being on a diet. I think, like when you're
That's
like,
it.
oh, I've had a Kit Kat now, and
Yeah, it's all over.
that's it. It's all over.
Yeah.
I've failed at my diet, but
Yeah.
actually, it's not. You just need to. It's just going to take you a bit longer to.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
to
You've just veered
I-
off track slightly.
I've already had my daily Kit Kat today.
yeah. I've said Kit Kat, and it's got a weakness for Kit
No,
Kat.
don't talk about Kit Kats. Pete, what do you wish you'd have done differently?
Eating more Kit Kats.
Chunky ones, peanut ones.
Yeah. Because I have a thing that I eat one Kit Kat every day. So I'm up to the year 2253 at the moment. I think I wish I'd kind of been more specific. So, I know this is something we've already talked about, but I really was, the goal was just like money,
More of it.
client. Well, I was such a kind of a caveman with a crayon kind of thing, rather than, like a proper business owner of, like you say, being specific. It was all such broad brushstroke of just an upward pointing arrow, and it's like, well, what does that mean? What does that?
Yeah.
So it's that. It's the specificity of it.
Oh, you
There
can
you
say
go.
that word. I can't say that.
Yeah. Word of the day: toilet paper for Christmas.
This episode is brought to you by United Carpets Flooring and Bedding, a flooring store specialising in carpets, rugs, vinyl and wood flooring, plus beds and mattresses. Check out their stores in Birmingham and in Mere Green, Sutton Coldfield, as well as 68 other stores around England. Share this podcast on your socials and you'll be entered into a prize draw for a £50 discount at United Carpets. Plus, Naeem Arif will gift you his books on customer experience that share current best thinking from 20 plus international customer service professionals to achieve impact and visibility through world-class best practice customer service. Check out United Carpets Flooring and Bedding, unitedcarpetsandbeds.com. Okay, so what have you learnt about yourself through setting business goals?
I love them.
Me too.
Yeah. I don't always achieve them.
No,
But
me either.
everything that we've already kind of said, I really like having. I've realised since being a business owner that I'm incredibly process driven, and I like having processes for as many things as possible, and having that thing in place of just. Again, something to kind of aim for, to drive towards, even though you might not get it this year, you might never get it at all, but that's the thing you're aiming for, I think is really good. That's the...
Yeah. I love setting goals. My name's Clare Worley, and I love setting goals.
Hi, Claire. Yeah.
I didn't always achieve them, and I still don't always achieve them. Things change, and I'm like, oh, actually, that's not as important to me now as it was then, and it needs to be a little bit different. But I love the focus that they give, and I love that feeling when you can kind of tick off, oh yeah, I've achieved that, and it feels great. Or perhaps it doesn't feel as good as I thought it was going to feel, and just tweaking it and adapting it as it goes. So it doesn't have to be written in blood or stone. It's for me about having like the overall vision of what you want to achieve by the end of the year, and then I love getting down into the detail. 3 to 5 steps that I'm going to take. How am I going to get that done? And that's what I love ticking off.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
But I think that's the thing to take away, for any business owner that's listening to this is you don't have to achieve the goal. You should have a goal, but it's not the end of the world to achieve the goal. I'm not condoning quitting, but...
Never.
No.
Never quit.
But it's also, if you realise the goal isn't going to happen, whether it's this year, this quarter, or this 3 years, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
No.
Don't be afraid to change the goals to something else.
Yeah, absolutely.
Reset it to.
But don't change it to something that's cheating.
No.
Yeah,
Steve Jobs wanted to float Apple within 2 years,
yeah.
and it took him 7.
Yeah.
And do you think at any point he was ever kind of kicking himself at that 7 year when it
I
happened
don't
and was
think-
like, God, why did this take me so long?
I don't think he ever kicked himself
No.
about anything.
I'd like to kick him now.
Well,
Maybe not now.
I was going to say that seems a little bit cruel.
It's a bit
The guy's dead. So what Claire's saying there is she'd like to kick a corpse. That's where we're going with that.
It's just going down a rabbit hole I can't find my way out of. I just think we're all spending too much time on our phones and our children have got challenges.
Steve Jobs there for Elon Musk or something?
Oh, well, yeah, either or.
Someone we
but,
can
yeah,
all get behind.
I do like a Tesla. Kate.
What I've learned is that goal setting is definitely a skill, and the more you do it, the better you get at it.
Yes.
And the way I sort of... I always like to have a good metaphor for things, and my metaphor here is catchphrase. When they've got the big thing and like a square reveals itself,
the
and
bonus
Mr.
catchphrase.
Chips is doing
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
You have to guess the catchphrase. So, like each one of those squares to me is like a period of goal setting, and it just sort of makes the vision more clear as you go through it. And
It's so wise.
Who knew?
and then there's Mr. Chips, like retired on his yacht in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
So I definitely get better at it the more that I do it. And I suppose one of the other things is I always used to think I was setting really ambitious goals. I look back, I don't think they were massively ambitious, particularly. I think I could stretch more, and that's what I'm trying to do now is like, well, actually, what if that goal that I think is an achievable goal, what if I stretch that and make it, what if I double it, and could that still be achievable actually? And so I think that's what I'm going to try and do next, and see what happens with that
Yeah.
sort of mindset.
I like it.
See what Mr. Chips ends up doing then.
It's good, but it's not right.
I'll
There we
give
go.
you the
That
money
ages
myself.
me. There's one for the kids.
I'll give you the money
What's the
myself.
buzzer noise, mate?
Yeah.
Well, I love the exercise. We've all just been in the same meeting, haven't we, with someone who was talking to us about money mindset.
Yeah.
So shout out to Maria Reid. I love the exercise that she did with, how much money you've achieved in your business this year. And then what do you want to achieve next year? Just put a 0 on the end and see how that kind of, makes you feel.
I broke out in a cold sweat.
I loved that exercise.
Yeah, I did. I really did.
Did you throw your crayon?
I did. I went, concept frightening me. That's what I did.
Darren, what have you learned?
Yeah, well, mine is also kind of money focused in that I've become obsessed lately with a spreadsheet that I put together, which is basically kind of projections and things.
Oh, I love that.
So I've broken down all the costs and everything, and all my cost of sales, whatever else. And I haven't made it too geeky, but I've got it to a point where I can change the numbers and see what happens.
Yeah.
So then I can just add in a bit more money for me. Let's put that in. Is that what I need? Okay. And then you can see what you need to achieve, quite literally, in front of you, the numbers there, and then you can translate that into how many, in my case, how many websites I need to sell to achieve that, and all those kind of things. And so it's become quite obsessed with that. So obviously when Maria was talking about adding a 0, it's like, what would happen if I did put an extra 0 in that spreadsheet, and where would it actually, add up? So you can kind of play with it and
I think that's a key
Just be
word,
silly
isn't it?
with
Then
it.
I mean, I love
Yeah.
spreadsheets for doing forecasting and having to play about with the numbers. If I want to achieve this, how does it all impact? But yeah, it should be fun, shouldn't it? It should feel quite playful, not so serious.
absolutely. And I've done it the other way, where it's like, if I reduce costs here, how much do I get there? Or, if I just...
If I just eat beans,
what happens then? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Die.
Die in a
Turn
cloud
orange.
of fart. Yeah.
Claire's gone very dark this month, hasn't she? You'll die and I'm going to kick a corpse. I mean, she's really Keep it light. There we go.
Okay. So, in the manner of keeping it light, what's your biggest challenge then relating to goal setting?
I think for me, it's the specificity. I don't think I get
You're
specific.
showing off now.
I know you are.
It's the same word.
I'm so in awe of people who can say specificity.
Oh,
See?
so
Oh, there you go.
close, so close.
Close enough.
That's my. I still don't think I get specific enough with my goals. That I think that's something I really need to look at.
So why don't you get specific enough?
I think because there's still that little part of like that's pretty achievable, or I know what it kind of is going to be, so I can just put that as a goal. I just think I need to just think about the goals a little bit more.
Okay. I'm not trying to do too much at once. That whole, come on, right, let's get cracking. And I have a tendency to kind of come back in January because I've written my goals, I'm really clear and I'm ready to get cracking. But I'm determined this year to, I've got my focus, but I also want to take it easy.
Pace yourself.
I know what I've got to
You
do.
can give
It
things
doesn't
a bit
need
more
to be a
focus
rush.
then, can't you? And do things better by not
Totally.
layering too much in one go.
Totally. So that is my aim.
I think for me, it's to be a bit more holistic with my goal setting. So
Nice.
I know we've talked a lot about finance, and like when as business owners, you think goal setting has got to be about business growth, but actually, I think I think all the dots join up. So it's like your fitness, and have goals around that, and your family, and what sort of holiday you want to go on, and and all those sorts of things. It all feeds into the same like story, really, and so that's what I'm going to try and do a lot more of is feed them into each other a bit more.
Like it.
Yeah.
You could probably benefit from taking a look at the life coaching wheel. Have you seen it before when you've got all your kind of 7, 8 different areas in your life?
I think
And
I
you
have
kind of
seen
plot
that,
where
yeah.
you are in each area. And you should really be in a kind of nice circular. But what people find that they're a bit kind of jagged in and out because it isn't all aligned. That's a
Yeah.
quite nice little exercise to do.
I shall Google that after this
Do
podcast.
it. Do it. Darren, challenges. Got any?
No, totally fine. I suppose I do. I mean, I have got plans that are quite organised and concrete in terms of life plans and things like that, long term. It's not just a 5-year plan, don't die.
Yeah.
It's a...
In a cloud of fart.
in a cloud of fart. It is like, what do I want to do lifestyle-wise when I hang up my boots sort of thing. But what I'm missing is kind of in between. So I've got my goals for the next year or two, and then I've got my long-term vision of effectively my retirement, I suppose. It's in between there. What is actually my grand vision for the business? I'm going in a direction, but I need to really sort of focus on what the end destination is for me to then achieve the other things that I've got planned after that.
Okay. So your challenge is to think about the end goal.
The business end goals. I've got the end, the post-business world of life.
Yeah.
I've got that visualised. It's got a beach. It's got a swimming pool.
Nice.
Things like that. And I've got the goals for now, the immediate goals and what I need to kind of keep things progressing. But where do I want my business to be in 10 years' time? Or 15 years' time.
God, does anybody around the table know that?
No. Goodness me.
Good, excellent. It's not me then.
Do you know that?
Well, my catchphrase picture is slowly starting to come into focus with it. Yeah, it's a long way off, isn't it?
Yeah,
so many
10
things can
years
change in that time.
Yeah.
So I've got to sort of, I've got a kind of idea of where I think we should be going with it. But as I go, I find that it changes, as things progress in the business, and then you think, oh, actually, maybe that could be a little bit, maybe it could be a bit more aspirational with what the 10-year picture looks like. So, yeah, I think it's important to have something.
Yeah, I've got a bit of a
some sort of-
headline.
yeah.
Okay, let's talk about silver linings because we have all been setting goals now for many years. We are very good at it. It's a muscle that we exercise a lot. And, we achieve as well as, not achieving some of it. So what are the silver linings when it comes to setting business goals? Who wants to jump in?
They're really good.
Brilliant. What an insight. What just...
Anyone else?
Anyway, see you next month, guys.
I think there is, I think what Kate meant to say was that kind of endorphin rush that occurs when you have hit a goal is really good. When you realise you've met one of the things, particularly if it's something that you thought you were going to get done this year, but you didn't, and it's like, floating apple in 2 years, taking 7 years. I can't imagine what that must have felt of, this is something I've been planning for so long, and it's actually happened. I think when those goals...
I think you celebrated with the bowl of carrots.
I think you probably did,
Did you hear that he ate so many carrots his skin turned orange?
Yeah. I'd heard that.
Sunny
So
Delight
be
used
careful
to
of
do
the
that.
beans.
Yes, it did, yes. Sunny
What's
Delight.
that?
Sunny Delight
Used
used
to
to
do.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
is it?
Yeah, that's why you can't buy it anymore. It was just made of these chemicals.
Oh my God.
Yeah. That were no good for anybody, really.
Anyway,
Well,
we
they tasted
digress.
great. So, but yeah, that's that endorphin rush of,
Yes.
this is a goal. This is something I've been working towards.
Yeah.
And this is a big thing to tick off the list.
Yeah.
That is, you're right. That is exactly what I meant to say.
See?
Pete.
Yeah. Well
See?
done. I love that I know how to get myself back on track when I veer off. Because in the olden days for me, I'd veer off track and go, well, that's that then. Done. I'm not going to achieve my goals. I'll just move on to something else. But now, if I veer off, I know that, to come back, I need to kind of revisit all my goals, reread them. And it really is just a case of like reading through them. And then I'm like, oh yeah, get all those feelings back of, I'm inspired and motivated. And, I might find that I need to tweak something, or I might be like, oh yeah, that's what I'm going to focus on now and tick that off. So, whereas before I'd be like, that's done and dusted. And now I can, we always veer off, but you just need to get yourself back on track. It's fine, doable.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I kind of agree with that, and also would say, maybe it's more pessimistic, but sometimes I'm a worrier. So sometimes you worry and you think, oh no, it's all going wrong. Why is my bank account looking like that? It should be, I'm sure I should have more money than that, or whatever it is. And then you look at your plan and you look at the goals and everything that you've got kind of in spreadsheet form or whatever, or visually, you think, actually, no, it's supposed to be, this is going to happen next. And you've kind of got it gives you a bit more confidence again to sort of...
Yeah, I've got a plan.
Calm. Yeah, there's a plan. It's okay. If we keep going, all we need to do is this, and then we can think things pick up again or whatever it might be. So, when
just
things go
takes
wrong...
a little bit of time to turn the ship back round.
Yeah. But if things go wrong, you've got a plan. Whereas when you don't have a plan, it's like, oh, no, I'm, screwed now. That's,
Well, then
now
you
I've
do
got to
start
thinking.
to worry.
Yeah.
Can I have another go at answering
Yes.
that?
Please do.
Oh, my answer wasn't good enough. Okay, fine.
Well, I think definitely sort of along the lines of what you were saying, Claire, to just keep you on track, because I have like boundless enthusiasm for everything, and I find it hard to sort of keep it contained sometimes. And especially, we stood in the shower in the morning. I'm like, I've just had another 55 ideas.
Yeah.
How do I do all this stuff? But it just helps to sort of keep that energy focused on what's important.
Yeah.
Rather than spreading it too thin over too many different things, and because I can be very much like shiny stuff and just like get very
and that
distracted.
is business owners without goals and without a plan. They're always following the next bright idea and the next shiny thing.
Yeah, and I need to stop looking at shiny things and just look at just one shiny thing.
Yeah, one shiny thing at a time.
Yes.
In your plan.
Yes.
Yeah, put the rest in a Trello board, forget about it for a year or two, and then come back to it and go, that's a really good idea, I wish I'd done that.
Yeah. And every now and again, you can just cover yourself in shiny things and have a little shiny thing fix, and then go back on the plan.
What you do in your own time is your own business.
Guys, we have been really insightful today.
Have we? Even if you do say so yourself.
We have, though, because, goal setting is so important, but many business owners are still not doing it. And, really using a big stick to beat themselves with if they've set goals that they don't achieve. It's just a case of, exercising that muscle a bit more and doing something differently, whether it's working with an accountability buddy or working with a coach or speaking it through with a trusted colleague, whatever it is, to do something a little bit different and get yourself motivated and inspired to achieve loads from 2024. I think that's the best way to go out, guys.
Absolutely.
Mic drop. So thank you for listening. Please share, subscribe and review so our fellow business owners can enjoy, be inspired and always keep focused on the fun side of business.
There goes Darren.
This has been a Monkey Pants Productions podcast.